housed on the CCR and our website. So we'll get to that in just a second. But you know why you're here this afternoon, and that's because we're not going to be doing training certificates any longer. And so, really, what does that mean for you? If you've looked at that constant contact that's gone out a couple of times, and I'll show you it's on our website as well, it really means that starting July 1st, we are not going to be issuing paper certificates anymore, but you have always been able to, and we'll teach you today and kind of help you along the process. Go in and take a look at that PD transcript that is on your iPower account. I know that we've got almost all centers on here this afternoon, and this is who it's really targeted for today. Tonight, we're going to do another, and we're going to have homes join us. So we'll target it a little bit differently towards them. But we'll show you this afternoon how you can look at your own PD report on there, and then how you can also go on there and look at your staff. And that's how HHS is going to be looking at those before they come out, actually, and do your annual licensing visits. So I'm going to go ahead here and pull up the CCR on our website.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. I cannot get my.
Not showing the CCR in R1. Hang on one second. I'm going to stop sharing again.
Wow.
Okay, so is everybody seeing the CCR on our website? Yes, okay, perfect. So if you go ahead and look at the CCR on our website, you'll see this kind of bluish greenish colored bar right here. And if you look at the training, and if you click on the training site, it is going to show you this yellow box right here, and it does tell you a little bit of information about not doing training certificates any longer. So that's on here. This is actually where Lisa, when we're done, is going to house the 2 videos that she records. They'll probably be up within the next couple of weeks. So this is just a little bit of that information about how we're not doing training certificates any longer. I'm going to take just a second before we share the videos. And I would like all of the training specialists, if you could unmute and just kind of give a wave, tell everybody who you are so that you can get that name and face recognition. I can't speak. So let's go to Region 1 first, and that is Amanda Peterson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Peterson, and like Jen said, I am the Region 1 training specialist. I started this position last year, and so I am here for any questions or any kind of assistance in Region 1. And my contact information is on our website.
Thanks, Amanda. And I am Jen Hoddle, as I said before. I am the training specialist for Region 2, which is in Northeast Iowa, and we cover 19 counties in Northeast Iowa. I've been at CCR&R since 2006, and all of our information, like Amanda said, is on the CCR&R website. And we would be more than happy to help you if you have any questions after today. Dawn, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Dawn Powers. I'm the specialist from Region 3, which is Southwest Iowa. Been here about maybe a little bit longer than Jen. Boy, they're really coming in.
Yeah.
So my information's on the website. You guys can find us all there.
Okay, thanks. Region 4 would be Carol Rainforth.
Hi, I'm Carol Rainforth. I am with Central Iowa Region 4, and I've been with CCR&R since 1997, and you can find my contact information on the web like everybody else's. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. And Region 5, do we have somebody on from Region 5? Maybe not. Their training specialist, I think, was sick maybe this morning. So the Region 5 training specialist is Liz Redicus, and her information will be on there as well. We're kind of coming up to an interesting time in our year. Our fiscal year ends June 30th. And so we're wrapping everything up. And I'm sure you're all wondering about trainings. Our trainings are going to be coming out here. Our new year starts July 1st. So if you haven't been on iPower recently looking for trainings, start looking very soon because they'll all be listed on there. I am going to go back to sharing so that we can take a look here at the CCR website. Okay, if you scroll down on the training page that we were on, you'll see this, and it says access to the iPower how-to videos. I think these are fantastic. Aaron Clancy created these a few years ago. I have these listed on here. I use them a lot when folks have questions. I'll try and help you, but sometimes it's easier if you have that video to kind of back it up so that you can watch her navigate through. So I'm going to click on this, and it will take us down to where all of the clips are at. And the first video that we're going to watch, and it's just a couple minutes long, is on finding and printing your professional development record.
Great ideas can come from anywhere. With Wix, you decide.
Hi, this is Erin Clancy at the Iowa Department of Human Services. This video is about finding and printing your PD record. If you haven't created a username and password, created a profile, or linked to a role in business, please watch those videos first. After you log into the system, click on your name on the left navigation, or if you're on a mobile device, click on the 3 lines to expand the left navigation, then click on your name, click on My Profile, click on My Professional Development, and where it says Education and Professional Development, that's where you're going to click to get the report, but you want to make sure that your dates are what you're looking for. So it will default to 1 year from today, or you can change it to your licensing dates or your registration renewal date. After the dates are what you want them to be, click on the Education and Professional Development report. The information that displays in the report will be only verified information. So if you entered your own training and it wasn't verified, it won't display on this report. After you click on the report, a PDF will open. Click on the Print button, select the location you want to print, or save as a PDF to your computer. Click Save or Print. Thank you for watching Finding and Printing Your PD Record.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you again. I'm going to pull up my iPower report quick. So this would be if someone wanted to look at their own PD report. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share. So you're looking at mine. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my profile. So I look over here at my name and click on my profile. And it's going to pull up this front page where all of your information is. And, you know, we've got lots of different tabs up here. But if you look at the tab that says My Professional Development, if you click on that, it's going to bring up all of the PD that you've done. Now, just in the video, it reminded you that it always defaults to 1 year. And for most of us, we're looking at like a 2-year time frame. So you may have to change those dates to encompass all of the trainings that happen within that date. Anything that has a green check here, just like Erin mentioned in the video, is a training that's been verified. You'll see that this training that I just uploaded last week has not been verified. It's because I added that training certificate. So when you have a licensing visit, your licensing person that comes out and does your visit will go ahead and verify those, or they'll do that, like I said, ahead of time. So then you'll have that green check. Those are the ones that are going to show up on this transcript. So you'll click on Education and Professional Development, and then it will bring up a PDF of all of your trainings. It's thinking just a second. And then it's going to list all of the trainings that you've had within that time frame. This is what you can use if one of your staff, I know this happens, I feel a lot with directors, you'll have staff that will attend a training, and before they used to have to bring in a training certificate and show that to you as proof that they attended. You can go ahead and have them print this off and they can turn that in and show that they attended. Or you could go ahead and look at your facility report, which is what we're going to do next. And then you'll be able to see all of the trainings listed on there. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I'm going to go back to the CCRNR website real quick. So if we scroll down here again, we're going to look at these videos, and this time we're going to look at the facility report. So scroll down just a little bit farther. Taking just a second to pop up. We're going to watch viewing your facility reports.
Mediacom Business has the real deal for your business, including 300 meg internet with mesh Wi-Fi for seamless connectivity and advanced data security to
Hi, this is Erin Clancy at the Iowa Department of Human Services. This video is about viewing your facility reports. Anybody can view their facility, a search for a facility, but only directors, co-directors, on-site supervisors, assistant directors, facility managers, and office managers can view the facility report, as well as DHS, of course. Click on Search Facilities. You have access to view information about all facilities, but you only have access to view their facility report if you're listed as one of the managers. So start to enter the name that's on your license, click search, scroll down, and you'll see there's a report button for the name that you're the director for, or if you were the on-site supervisor for. You can click on the report, enter your licensing dates, or other dates that you might want to look at, and either click search to see your employees separately and click on their information, or click view the PDF report. If you click on view the PDF report, that's the same report that the licensing consultants use to look to see if you have all of your requirements met. Thank you for watching. Center Management, view facility reports.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up here because you can also access iPower from this page. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to access iPower. And I'm going to go ahead and log in as one of the directors in our area. I do have permission from her to show you this. So just like Erin showed us in the video, I'm logged in as Penny, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click the search button and search facilities. So once again, it brings up all of the facilities, all of the centers then across the state, but you're only going to be able to see the ones that you would be the director for. So I'm going to go ahead and enter. And Penny is the director at the Hawkeye Child Development Center here in Waterloo. So I'm going to click on the report. And we'll look at the years. And I'm going to go ahead and just click and change that to 2 years back from the date today. And if you click on, like in the video, the View PDF report, it's going to generate that report. This is the same report then that HHS uses, and it shows all of the staff that are tied to the center currently during that 2-year time and the number of PD hours that they have over here. Okay, so this is what HHS will use. You can go in there at any time and look at that as well. And you can look at specific staff if you click on the first button, which was the search button. So you can click on that and it'll bring up all of the staff individually, and you can look at their hours there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Erin, I didn't let you introduce yourself before, and I should have. Do you want to unmute and tell everybody?
That's okay. Everybody heard my voice already. I'm Erin Clancy. I'm the program manager. I'm a child care program manager and the director of the iPower system here in Iowa. So I'm here to answer whatever questions you may have about those 2 reports or anything else related to iPower.
Yeah, so really that is going to be the end of our presentation. We just wanted to show you those 2 reports that you can run on there today. Does anybody have any questions? Because if you have a question, somebody else probably has the same question. So if you want to go ahead and unmute, or you could go ahead and put it in the chat box as well.
Looks like there's a couple in the chat already.
Okay.
This is Colin. A question in there. I'm trying to figure we're doing our 12 credits per year through our Q4K. What date for each of my staff persons to be using to have that 12 hours in between?
You're really cutting out, Colette.
I mean, is it different per person by your role date? Oh.
You're kind of cutting out and it's kind of hard to hear.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Is that any better? Let's see what you're saying. Is that any better?
Go ahead and try again.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what date we should be doing our 12 hours of training between. Is everybody's different? Staff, or do we go by their role start date yearly?
Are you talking for your license?
No, I'm talking for the IQ4K. They'll go in, they'll check to make sure that all my staff have the 12 hours, but what are the dates?
So on a and if somebody else is an expert on this, please pipe in. On the first time you apply, it would be 1 year back, and then it's based on your renewal date.
Okay, so all all my staff will get theirs in by the renewal date of my IQ4K.
Yes.
And I
And
would
the
say,
It
renewal
might be
date is,
different than your license. It might be different than your license date.
right.
okay, so where would I find my renewal date for my IQ4K? Is that on it? On the form that I get?
Are you currently
On the
rated?
certificate?
Are you
Yes.
currently rated? You would have to sign into
Yes, we are.
IQ4K, and if you sign into IQ4K, it will be on there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, it does look like we have a couple questions in the chat. Aaron, do you want to talk about mandatory and CPR first aid?
Yeah, so there are some CPR and first aid classes in iPower, and if you enroll through iPower, you don't need to upload your certificate because they'll mark attendance in iPower. So that's kind of a rule of thumb. If you enroll in iPower, then the people who are managing that class will mark the attendance, and that will give the green check mark, and then it would be called verified. So you do not need to upload in those cases. If you do take CPR and first aid outside of iPower, because there isn't any available in your area that's going through iPower, but it's still through an approved organization, then you can do that. But then you would need to upload those certificates into the iPower account in the My PD section. So that would then, what we're doing right now is we're having a single person for centers go in and verify prior to your visit. So if that's sitting there unverified, don't worry. Before your licensing visit, Tina will go in and look at it and make sure it's compliant and then verify it. So if it's in there, uploaded by you, just let it be there until it's close to the time for the visit, and then they'll verify it. Or HHS will verify it for you.
And Aaron, that's the same question with MCART, I think, too.
Yeah. So MCART, unfortunately, is not linked to iPower right now. So you would have to go into the workday, do the MCART, get the certificate, and then you can upload it into iPower. And the same thing, Tina would go in prior to the licensing visit and verify it. Now, if you're working on your IQ4K application before your licensing visit, then your IQ4K specialist would verify it. Good questions.
Okay. Looks like Holly had a question about report being filtered to only show active employees.
So the report should only show, the facility report should only show active employees during the time frame that you're looking at. So if they started employment before and they haven't gotten an end date for their employment in iPower, then they will display in the facility report. So if you're looking at somebody who left before the start date of your report, and they're still showing up, but you did inactivate them, then send a message to the TR help in the iPower help desk, and that, because that would be a bug. But if you're looking at a period of time, it's those employees that were there during that period of time. So you might want to look at the employees and whether or not they have an end date, if you're seeing them and you're not expecting to.
Is there any way to make iPower more user-friendly when you supervise more than one location? And I'm assuming that just as you can have many different roles within iPower, and you just need to make sure that you're in the correct role when you're looking at for those staff. And when you do go on iPower, that little green dot that's at the top would be signifying which role you're in. So you would just want to make sure that you are in the role where you want to look for those staff if you supervise more than one center.
So yeah, the issue is 100% that we get our licensing information from the KinderTrack system, and that's a center-based system. They don't have like a like grandmother, grandfather center and then centers underneath it. They're just, one center with their staff underneath it. So because we're taking the data from KinderTrack to go into iPower, it is per center, and there's not an easy way to make it multi-centers in one location. But like Jen said, if you go in and you know you're going to be managing staff at, ABC location 1, then make sure that you're the director or the facility manager or the on-site for that center before you start searching and doing things. I know that it's not ideal for those that have multiple sites. I get that, but that's how it was built back in 2004. So
Nicole
maybe in the
says,
future.
sorry. For the ones that are unverified, do we not have to worry about them being verified until right before a visit? That HHS staff is going to be verifying them before your licensing visit.
That's correct. Yep. So licensing is giving Tina, who's the IQ4K specialist assistant, they give the licensing schedule. So she's going in about a month before the visit and verifying everything she can within the system. So everything that she can verify will be verified before your visit. If you're worried about that and it's coming up a couple weeks before your visit and you don't see that, you can send a note to the TR help and we can look into it. But that's the way it should be.
Lori says, can I upload CPR and MCART certificates for my staff, or do they have to do it themselves? I mean, it's best to teach them how to do it themselves, really, because it is their profile that they're maintaining. Yes, they're attached to your center, but they could be leaving your center and going to a different center. So it really is best to teach them how to do it. But you can help, and that's why we're here too as well. We can help with that. I do that a lot for people too that have some issues, some technical issues with that.
So yeah, so as a director, on-site supervisor, facility manager, any of those manager roles, you do have access to search profile. And if that person is linked to your facility, you do also have access to all of their pages. So you could go into my professional development on their behalf, but like Jen said, we recommend empowering people to manage their own professional development. Before we didn't have training registry or iPower, we couldn't guarantee that trainings were mobile or transportable from one location to another, but now we're trying to build professionalism in the field, and their record is their record. So it's best to let them do it and help them if needed.
To meet licensing requirements, do the hours we need each year start on July 1st?
They start on your licensing date, so whatever that is.
Right. I have a new staff who took classes without having an iPower account. Will we need to upload those certificates? This is kind of a big issue. We really need to have staff have their iPower account first and sign up for trainings and be approved for those before they take the training, especially because, like Erin was saying, iPower connects to the Moodle, which is where they're going to take universal precautions, where they're going to take essentials, where they're going to take the Compass trainings, Passport, all of those. And those systems talk to each other. So they'll be putting in their username on the Moodle, and if they are exactly the same, then they will download in from the Moodle into iPower. So really the best way is to wait and have them do those first. So if it's a training that was maybe done on the Moodle, if they go back in, right, Erin, and put their username in on the Moodle, then it should take, we say 24 hours to download into iPower. Anything else with that, Erin, that you can think of?
That's correct. Yeah, if you have an employee that didn't work in Iowa and didn't have an iPower account because of that, and they have, trainings that they completed that Iowa would count, you can upload those. But for sure, if you have employees that are coming in new, the first thing they should do is create an iPower account so they can do their essentials in the Moodle at ISU Extension and Outreach, and then go from there. And once that's set up, they don't ever have to set it up again. That way they can start tracking.
Will we need printed copies in-house for licensing visits, or are they viewing those electronically? And I think we've answered that one. They're going to view those electronically before the licensing visit.
So yeah, you're not required to keep paper files of the training completion. There are other requirements that we don't have set up right now in an electronic version. So you still have employee files for other things, but the iPower account is the tracking mechanism for compliance with professional development. So that's adequate. You don't have to print a bunch of transcripts or facility reports.
Next question, will staff need to upload their own training certificates if they're doing training from someplace other than iPower? This is not necessarily the responsibility of the director. And is there a current list of organizations not in iPower that are approved organizations?
Okay, so yes, both. So yes, the person who has taken the training is responsible to upload that training. So you want them to be in compliance with the center. So you want to make sure that they do that right before the licensing visit. There are instances where approved training is not in iPower. Thinking of like NACI conference, they wouldn't go into all 50 states and enter their conference into iPower. Like other national events that we would count from associations. So yeah, so if if it is an approved organization and it's not in iPower, you can upload it and then Tina can verify it. There is a list on the child care provider webpage for HHS. If you click on the child care provider, then professional development, there's a CPR list, an essentials list, and an ongoing PD list that will give you a comprehensive view of all the organizations that are approved.
Sometimes staff will take a training from an approved organization that's on iPower and it just doesn't show up right away. And so sometimes we just ask you to kind of be patient and wait. I know I just read the other day that CACFP, I believe, is verifying their trainings like the month after they're taken. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to wait and make sure that they're going to show up. So we don't want you uploading those because they are going to show up on your report. Sometimes you just have to hold out just a little bit and wait for those to show up.
Yeah, and actually that's true. There's also a couple of national organizations that do solely online trainings that go in and verify attendance monthly. And they do it faithfully, but they do if you did it at the beginning of the month, and it doesn't necessarily get verified until the end of the month. So you can check with your organization to see when their schedule is for doing that if you're worried about it or you're coming up on the compliance time.
So Beverly says, if we're a small center and have only 4 to 5 employees, do we still need to upload CPR and MCART certificates? We typically put them in our staff files. We want everybody to upload those, correct, Erin?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we want all ongoing professional development and required trainings uploaded into the system.
Next question. I have a former employee that is now back, but cannot find the iPower account even with a global search. He has an account and has been doing training. Is that one you want them to just maybe contact the TR help?
Yeah, that might be the best. Give some details so I can look into it.
Yep. We just ran the facilities report on a few of our sites and no one is showing up as having CPR, first aid, and MCART as complete. That's probably because they haven't maybe uploaded them yet. And it won't show up unless they're verified. So that
Correct.
could be the reasons.
Yeah, so even if they did go in and upload them and you're not seeing them on the report, it's likely because they haven't been verified because you're not close to your licensing visit time.
You said about 24 hours for Moodle to transfer to iPower. Does that automatically upload at a certain time each day?
It happens at about 3 a.m. The night after you take the training. That's what I've been told. If the information in the Moodle profile where it says registry ID doesn't exactly match, then it won't upload that information into iPower. So that would be your first check, is to go into that Moodle and make sure that it matches what people use to log into iPower in that registry ID section.
And I would say that you should put it in there exactly as it is listed on iPower. So if it's in all caps on iPower, put it in all caps on Moodle, because I don't know that iPower is necessarily specific to that, but I believe the Moodle is. So you want to make sure that they match exactly.
Yeah,
That's usually one is really easy for us to check, because 9 times out of 10, it's because we haven't put it in exactly. So.
Yeah, you can actually go into your profile and copy the username in iPower and then just paste it into the profile section of the Moodle if you're worried about getting it right.
Alex says, when trainings need approval, do we need to email our CCR and our consultant, or will they be going through the region once? No. So CCR and R is not going to be verifying those trainings. That will be HHS verifying the trainings. The only time CCR and R will do that is if it's something needed for IQ4K. Can trainings that are not verified in iPower only be verified by our licensing consultant? Yes. Yes.
Actually, they're not verifying trainings any longer. The licensing consultants aren't. It's just Tina doing it.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's only right before the licensing visit, unless there's some exception that needs to be considered or something. But yeah, unless they're applying for IQ4K, it would be the training or the IQ4K specialists.
Mhm.
And if they're not applying for IQ4K, it would be just before your licensing visit.
Michelle says, is it acceptable for directors to set up and create new employee accounts? Directors who do this really cause a problem when their staff move on to other centers because the staff member doesn't know their iPower account and sign-in information. You are exactly correct, Michelle. Yes. So I know that that is being helpful and helping them get started and getting that set up, but it really should be on the staff person to get that set up.
I 100% concur with that, because a lot of issues that occur in the system are panicking people trying to get access to their own records, and they can't because somebody else set it up for them with maybe a center email that they don't have access to anymore. So that can cause duplicates and triplicates and people not being able to get to where they need to be in lots of staff time. So yeah, please have the person know their username and password, set it up. If they can't do it alone, then at least give them access to it and use a personal email, not their work email. So when they move on with their career, they can access it over time.
So the year for all staff PD hours is from licensing date. Yes. Do our licensors know that we aren't required to have paper copies? What if they still require them?
They aren't. Yes, you are not required to have paper copies. They should not require you to have paper copies.
I think
If they
Jesse
do
just
require
answered
you
that
to
one
have
too.
paper copies, you can email me and I can address it.
This is for the question about trainings not showing up on the report. Did we get that one answered? I think so. How can we ensure our CPR will be verified? That's when we have the HHS licensing. We'll do that. Is IQ4K enrollment date the same as the effective date on the certificate? Jessie, looks like she's answered that one. None of our staff's mandatory reporting CPR are showing up. Most are verified, but are still not showing up in the facilities report.
Okay, can you send me that? Send me your facility name and what's happening, and I can look into it. Because if they're verified and they're not showing up, then it's a bug. Unless the only other thing would be to make sure the dates are within the period that they took the CPR and first aid, because they would, because it should be showing up.
Can trainings that are not verified in iPower only be verified by our licensing consultant? Do I communicate? Yes. Check with your licensing consultant. Yep, thank you. Is it acceptable? I think we answered that one.
Just to
Okay.
reiterate, we're not having the licensing consultants verify any longer. It's just right before your licensing date. If you are going to be an on-site supervisor or a director, though, those will get verified before your licensing date, obviously, because they need to be verified in order for you to be eligible to be a director. Then Tina will go in, there's a dashboard, and she'll verify those first. So
I think that just answered Kathy's question. So I think we've gotten through all the questions so far that were in the chat. Now would be the time if you have another question and you want to put it in the chat, or go ahead and unmute.
great questions, everybody. Thank you.
That's a good question.
Sure.
Hi, I have a question about, so as a director, I want to track where my staff are at with certificates. So we don't get a month from our licensing visit and I find out that they have any, so don't have any. So if no one's verifying them from an
Okay.
outside source, how will I ever know?
So, okay, good question. The reason they're not showing up on the facility report until they're verified is because we don't want the facility to show trainings that aren't eligible to be counted. And then the transcript, we don't want to show trainings that aren't eligible to be counted for, like, because we use that same transcript for the CDA application and things like that too. So the way to be able to see whether or not you have people in compliance is I would take the facility report, and then if there's any gaps where you don't see those trainings completed, you can go into those individual profiles by going to search profile as the director, because they're under your they're employed by you, so you can access the records that way. So you can search their profile, click their name, click my professional development, which would be whoever's name you clicked on, the employees. And then you can see, oh yeah, they do have those in here. They're just not verified yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I have a question. I am a director as well, and my CCR&R worker helped me pull the report for our IQ4K. And it is showing that some of mine, especially my new hires, have like 152 hours of training.
I think this is the one I sent you, Erin.
Yeah, I reported that to the programmers, so you should be
Okay.
I'll look and see later, but they usually take about a week or two to fix things, so hopefully it'll be fixed.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank
sorry
you.
about that. Yeah.
Somebody else says they noticed that too. If that is an issue, just make sure that you email that TR help email and let Erin know. A couple of people it looks like are having that same issue so that she can get that to the programmers.
So that's a really important point because, I mean, bugs happen in every system, and there's nothing we can do about stopping them completely. So if you see something that you're leery about or you think is wrong, contacting us so that we can look into it and either tell you, actually, this is why it's pulling that way, or, oh my gosh, yes, we need to submit that for, you can all help the system get better by reporting things that aren't working correctly, is I guess what I'm saying. So much appreciated when you do that.
Anybody else have questions?
I just wanted to thank Erin for being here. She knows so much and is able to get us through that.
Baby. Thank you. I enjoyed it. It's good to see actual faces.
Thank you.
If you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But Kristen, did you have a question? Oh, okay. If you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But you've seen who your training specialists are. You can find them on the CCR&R website. If you have questions, always reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you. We know it's going to be an adjustment period for everybody. So we are here to help you. And if we can't answer the question, then we always go to Erin for sure. She's got all the answers. So
True. Thank you, Jen and Don, for working so hard on this. I really appreciate both of you for that too. Okay.
all right. Thanks, guys. Have a
Thank
great
you.
afternoon.